A Body to Die For, a Stan Kraychik mystery, Book 1. Author Grant Michaels, publisher Stonewall Inn Press, narrator Eric Ost. Chapter 4. Diamonds, Furs, and Ruby Rings. Next morning I was in the shop working as usual. Though the events of last night persisted in my mind, had it all really happened? Had I really met my cowboy fantasy man, then found him dead a few hours later? But the world turns, and no matter the horrors or sadness of my personal life, my clients expect technical perfection and emotional nurturance from me. So temporarily I dismissed my own troubles while I tried to salvage what was left of a young woman's hair. Someone, and I happened to recognize the work, had been abusing her hair shafts with careless perm technique. It was the wrong approach for her wispy type of hair. Consequently, last time he'd literally dissolved and rinsed almost a fourth of her silky blonde tresses down the drain. What we call in the trade a chemical cut. The 20-year-old looked desperate. "Can you fix it?" she asked, close to tears. I was standing behind her. I held both her shoulders firmly, put my face next to hers, and looked warmly at the reflection of her sad eyes in the mirror. "It's going to be all right," I murmured softly into her ear. "We'll do an asymmetric cut, and you'll look divine." She couldn't see my physical and mental exhaustion from last night's turmoil, nor the restless, fitful sleep I'd endured. To my clients, I am always light-hearted, concerned only with their beauty. "Will my hair ever grow back?" she asked. "It will, but until then, no color, no perms, no blow-drying. Nothing in your hair except the shampoo and moisturizer I give you today." I didn't have the heart to tell her the whole truth. Her hair might never be the same as before. Like the name of the process that can cause it, chemical damage can be permanent. 40 minutes later, I finished the emergency work on the young woman. She looked pretty good considering what I had to work with. I cleaned up my station and headed toward the front door. Nicole stopped me. "And just where the flying hell do you think you're going?" "I'm off to Neiman's." "How can you go shopping after what happened last night?" "Doll, this is official business." "Stanley, please don't lie. If you must shop to get your mind off your problems, then go ahead. But don't lie." "I'm not lying." She wasn't convinced. "Nikki, I expect the cops to mistrust me, but not you." "Oh, I trust you, Stanley. I just don't believe you." "And what about your photo session this afternoon?" She was referring to my contract to style the models for a magazine shoot at a new hotel opening on the waterfront. "It's only 11 now, and I don't have to be there until 1. I've got plenty of time, Nikki." She smirked in disapproval. "Then as payola for running out on me, you can bring back 2 truffles from Neiman's Epicure shop." "Sure, doll. You want the Perigord or the Belgian variety?" "What?" "The Perigord truffles are the ones the pigs sniff out from the ground. The ones from Belgium are chocolate." Nicole's eyes glittered impatiently. "The chocolate kind, of course. What would I do with a pig's truffle?" "For starters, braise it in cognac and chop some into an omelet." Nicole winced. "I'll take my cognac in a snifter, thank you." "Or a styrofoam cup?" "Will you just leave and get me the damn chocolate?" I'm going. 1 Grand Mariner and 1 Bitter Midnight, right?" Nicole answered in her broad-set, breathiest fake Brit scent. "Thank you, dearest darling." I walked to Neiman Marcus, known to some as Needles Markup. The store was only a few blocks uptown from Snips, on the other side of Copley Square. The air was cooler than yesterday, but still clear and breezy. It felt good on my face, like a moment in a country meadow. As I crossed Bolston Street, Boston's great east-to-west dividing line, I smelled rubrum lilies. I saw them swaying gently in cream and coral glory in an outdoor flower vendor on the corner. Their sweet bouquet, usually a cue for romance, only encouraged a heavy sadness now. I began my little field trip in men's accessories, which is where my friend Eduardo works. Eduardo is from Costa Rica and a family of laborers. Here in the U.S., though, he portrays the deposed aristocracy. His skin is smooth and the color of hazelnuts. His face is set with a square jaw, hollowed cheeks, and dark brooding eyes that gaze from under a deep brow. He looks the model of Latin machismo, but he is, at heart, a principessa. Eduardo strutted the floor as though he owned Neiman's, as though he were overseeing his private atelier. In truth, his wealthy older patron could probably have bought the store for him, but instead he furnished Eduardo with a South End duplex condominium, a German convertible, and a robust portfolio of securities. Is all in my name, Eduardo had told me one well-sodden night when I'd asked where Daddy was. We'd just finished our second round under the sheets. But I can never live with him. We will kill each other. Nowadays, I styled Eduardo's wavy black hair, and he continued to flirt with me. His burnished bronze face shone within the crowd of fashion-conscious men milling around the counters of ties, jewelry, cologne, and leather accessories. He saw me and called out, "Aston! Clareda!" I wailed. Eduardo left his other customers and came to me. "What you doing here?" he asked with a welcoming smile. He wore an Italian suit of navy blue worsted wool, a white shirt, and a silk necktie of slate purple and silver stripes. "I need your help, babe." Eduardo gave me a ladylike tap on the shoulder. "Oh, you, Aston. You such a bad boy. Why, I love you so much." "Because we think the same always about sex." "No, I never think about sex," but then we both broke up laughing. "Eduardo, I'm looking for a certain cologne. I don't know the name. All I know is the smell." "We have everything you can buy in this country." "What it smell like?" I winked back and said, "Like you, mysterious and spicy." He grinned, then fluttered his fingers over the display of bottles. A solid gold ring adorned one finger of each hand. One was set with a large Marquise onyx, and the other with an oval lapis lazuli. Finally, his slender hands lighted on a bottle. "Maybe you like this? Is the most expensive one." He handed me the bottle, a triangular prism of frosted gray glass. The word onyx had been etched into the glass in small Roman script. I whiffed it and felt its vapors go directly to the back of my neck. That would give me a hangover. Eduardo wrinkled his nose and shook his head. "Smell like a poppers. How these stupid people can buy this thing." I could tell this technique for finding the cologne I'd smelled in Kelvin's apartment would cause serious side effects on my senses. So instead of continuing, I leaned close to the counter and whispered, "Baby, I need some information." "What you need, honey?" He rolled his shoulders and swayed his hips slightly. "You know, La Marquisa can help. There's a guy named Aaron who works here." Eduardo suddenly reared back and slapped me on the arm. "Oh, you boy! You cheating on me! That bitch is no good! You keep away!" "Just tell me where he works." "Why you want Aaron?" "He's mean." "Clareda, I just want to talk to him. It's about his lover. It's serious." "Promise." "Eduardo, I don't even know him." His eyes shifted left and right as he decided whether to believe me. Then he said, "Okay, I tell you because I love you, Aston." He worked upstairs in men furs. He pointed up to the mezzanine level, and as he lifted his right hand, a small gold watch with a lizard band pecked from under his monogrammed shirt cuff. "Thanks, Bambino," I said, and kissed him on the cheek. "You such a nasty boy, Aston." I headed toward the escalator. In my haste, I neglected to ask him what Aaron looked like. All I had to go on was Hal's description from last night. But it turned out real easy. I got up to men's furs, and there was only 2 salespeople. One was a blond youth, eager to help me. He was pretty enough, but in my mind too young to be selling coats that started at $5,000, and the other, the one assisting a customer into a full-length blue fox overcoat, was Aaron. He was slender, around 5'10" in height, but his long, lean legs made him appear taller. The hair on his small, finely sculpted head was cut close. He wore a dark gray pinstriped suit, hand-tailored and double-breasted, with a white shirt and bow tie. The bow tie was navy with bright red dots. It was knotted, neat and tight. His eyes met mine, and even from 15 feet away I could tell they were pale blue. There was a knowing look, that moment when you recognize someone, even though you've never met before. And then it happened. Aaron dropped the fur coat he was holding and bolted. I sprang to action on my Slavic locomotives and followed him, running and crashing through racks of furry jackets and coats. He ran through a door marked employees only, and I was right behind him. But once through, I faced a narrow hallway with 4 other doorways, and no Aaron. He'd vanished. I thought quickly. He'd have to have taken the nearest door to disappear that quickly. But that door opened onto a room full of empty hangers and racks and office supplies. 1 desk, 1 chair, and no person. I tried the next door, and it was locked. The third one was a stairway, which I took to so quickly that I almost tumbled down. I caught myself on the railing, then I smelled it, the familiar spicy scent from Kelvin's bedroom closet. Immediately I recalled the image of Roger lying dead on Kelvin's bed. That's the one, I thought. The stairway led me back onto the main floor of the store, where Aaron could easily disappear since he knew his way around. Eduardo saw me come out from the stairwell. He pointed frantically the direction Aaron had taken. I ran out of the store, but it was too late. I'd lost him. Defeated, I went back to see Eduardo. He said, "I see him running out. So you scare him good, huh?" He laughed and seemed pleased. I was breathing hard. At least now I know he's hiding something, and somehow he recognized me. "And now I know what you're looking for, before." He thrust a bottle toward me that was as close to a large brown phallus as poor taste in marketing would allow. "It's called Alum Brun." I smelled it. "That's the one," Eduardo said. "Wait here, Stan. I find something for you." He dialed a number on the store telephone and spoke. "Hello, Gloria? It's me, Eduardo." He reminded me of a cat charming a mouse directly into its paws. "I know," he continued. "I'm just checking up on you, baby. Ha ha ha." Eduardo winked and nodded to me as he spoke into the phone. "Listen, honey, I need address for some person in the store. Can you do that for me?" He covered the phone and whispered to me. "Gloria gonna help you. She tell me everything in this store." Then he returned to the phone. "I know, honey. I'm sorry. I've been busy. Okay? It's Ellen in Menfers. You know him?" Eduardo scrawled something quickly on his sales slip. "Thanks, honey." He hung up and gave me the paper. "Is this address?" I looked at the paper. The street and number looked familiar, and in a moment I realized it was Kelvin's address. "Thanks, Eduardo. At least I found out what he looks like." "And what he smell like?" His eyes twinkled. "Tell me, Stan, how come we never be married?" "Because I can't support your Eva Peron lifestyle." "I don't care about that. You such a macho man." I knew that was a lie. "Baby, when you put everything in my name, I'll marry you." He flicked his wrist at me. "You such a bad boy." I left Neiman's, feeling I was getting nowhere. And when I got back to the shop, I realized I'd forgotten Nicole's chocolate. Her response? "I know you had a difficult night, Stanley, and that to forgive is divine, but to overlook this act of gross negligence would qualify me for sainthood." She sent Ramon, one of the shampoo boys, out to get the forgotten chocolate. I didn't miss the $20 bill she slipped him as a tip, either. Oh well, I was family, so my favors came free. It was just noon, but already I was frustrated and irritable. To top it off, the afternoon shooting session on the piers had been canceled. That meant my work wouldn't be appearing in the Sunday newspaper. Just goes to prove that in my business, the breakthrough to celebrity or the toboggan to oblivion is a matter of whim, something on the order of a flea's fart. The unexpected free time didn't compensate a bit. Strange as it may sound, I'd prefer to work when I've already planned on it. I felt my crankiness growing. I plunked myself down on my station as soon as Ramon left on his special mission. Nicky walked over and said quietly, "You had a visitor while you were gone." "Who?" "A sleek Italian cop." "Lieutenant Branco?" Nicole nodded approvingly. "What did he want?" I asked. "You're to call him immediately." I picked up the phone and dialed the number he'd left, but Branco wasn't in. I left a message and said I'd call back later. Nicole sighed deeply and said, "That man is one hunk of Mediterranean meat. Is he yours or mine?" I scowled at her. "He's straight." "Ah! And such a long winter ahead. Perhaps I'd invite the lieutenant over for a warm, cozy evening. The fireplace hasn't been used for a while." "Nicole, he's a cop." "Darling, nobody's perfect." She eyed me curiously. "Stanley, you're not jealous." "Doll, isn't it a bit gauche for you to want to date a guy who's eager to nail me with a murder charge?" "I don't think he wants to do that at all." "That's your nether brain talking, Nicole." She twirled her pearls for a moment, then said, "Stanley, why did you lie to me?" "What lie?" "You told me your trip to Neiman's was police business." "It was, kind of. The lieutenant didn't know anything about it. He wouldn't, since I didn't tell him." "Nicole, I've made a big discovery about the police." "How big is it?" I faced her directly. "Doll, I can see you're in one of your swollen moon phases, thanks to the lieutenant's visit." "Stanley, you know that's physiologically impossible." "I'm talking anatomy, doll. Don't be fresh. Don't be brain dead. Just tell me then, what is this big discovery about the police?" "I've decided that the best way to deal with them is simply to take matters into my own hands." "Stanley, you're wrong. You have to work with them, not against them." "But they suspect me. If I don't try to get myself off the hook, who's going to do it?" "Stanley, you're blowing this all out of proportion." "Nicole, you weren't there. I was. I am a suspect in Roger's murder. Remember? I told you last night. A suspect. Kelvin is too, but from what I can tell, they're only holding him for the drugs he was using." "I'm sure they'll find the killer and everything will be fine." "Thank you, Nancy Drew." Just then, Ramon returned with Nicole's chocolate. He was breathless from running, but he'd executed his mission proudly, like a loyal little dog. I half expected her to say, "Good boy," and pet his head. When he presented the fancily wrapped package, Nicole said to him, "Aren't you good?" and patted him on the head. Psychic Stanley. Ramon gave her some money, which was the change from the $20 bill. Then he quietly disappeared, and I was embarrassed at my earlier jealousy. Ramon, after all my doubts and suspicions, was still only Nicole's minion. Nicole caught me eyeing the whole transaction, and she asked me slyly, "Would you like a truffle?" I shook my head no. She continued, "Stanley, I think you should stop this. Do-it-yourself crusade and cooperate with the lieutenant." "Sorry, Nicky. It's equal Steven. They follow the law. I follow my intuition. The more calcified they act, the more I want to prove my way is right." "The temerity of youth." "I'm not that young." "Parts of you are." I was certain that Nicky's new law-abiding morals were the result of Lieutenant Branco's recent visit, and her fickle allegiance only aggravated my bad mood. But then, some of my best ideas come when I'm in a morbid state of mind. Must be another aspect of my innate Slavic perversity. I needed to get out of the shop, and with an open afternoon ahead of me, I got a whim to go across the Charles River to Cambridge. I'd pay a visit to the offices of the Chocolate Group, architectural consultants, where Kelvin Redding worked when he wasn't in jail. A Gay Mysteries audiobooks. I think it is easy to hate a label, but a face humanizes the word. So this effort is twofold: to offer comfort to those like myself that your world didn't end because you don't fit into the view of acceptable society on both sides, and in hopes of helping those with family that are LGBTQ, that it doesn't mean we are aliens from the child they once knew. Reassure them so they can maybe be supportive at the same time, being true to their values.